What's up, traders? I've got another hot seat episode for you today, sponsored by TradeZella. So today we're talking with Juan about how he has been using TradeZella to track his 5 funded accounts with TopStep and his instant funded account with Tradeify. You're gonna love this one. Juan actually is gonna come back on for a full podcast episode with me for the day trading show. So stay tuned for that. And now enjoy today's conversation with Juan about how he's using TradeZella. Saves you a fuck ton of money, bro. Dude, I love that. I love that. All right, let's get started right on that note. So for the hot seat today, let's talk about some of these stats. So first of all, give everybody a 90-second skinny on you, Juan. How long have you been trading? When did you start using TradeZella? I know you said you're in Miami, but give everybody a little quick update on you first, and then we'll get into this.
Sure. So I started trading back in 2018, and long story short, I had to make a decision start of 2018 whether I was going to pursue a professional career through corporate because I had just graduated with my degree, or was I going to choose trading? And here I am. I chose trading. I got started with stocks in 2018. About halfway through, I transitioned into Forex. I went through about 4 to 5 mentorship groups. I've done it all, literally every indicator, every price action strategy. And I've just gotten what works for me and just stuck with that. And I've just refined my confluences and my edge. And fast forward to 2023, at the back end of 2023 last year, I finally reached consistency and profitability. I had my first profitable quarter. I carried that momentum forward to 2024 with futures because I transitioned after the whole saga happened with funding companies and MT4. And that profitability led to where I am today. And yeah, here I am.
And now trading with TopStep. I know we're looking at some XFAs here, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm funded with 550K TopStep XFAs and then one Tradeify account. Actually, I have them all right here.
Nice, dude. A man after my own heart, bro. I didn't know that was like the same thing we got. So, okay, do you have a preference? Can you say like so far your experience with prop firms? And that was a great little synopsis of the story. For everybody listening, me and Juan are going to sit down and do a full podcast in a couple of days. So we'll make sure that's tagged below as well so you can really get into the story. But futures, how you liking it since the transition? Do you miss the old CFD prop firm trading, or are you happy to be with futures now?
I'm happy to be with futures. I honestly, a chart is a chart at the end of the day. When I transitioned, I had zero hesitation of, oh, am I going to be profitable or not? Because I'm looking at price action and I know I can profit with price action alone.
Mhm.
So I have no preference, but the fact that I'm in futures now, I enjoy no spread. And I like the prop firms because they're more professional.
Yeah,
For the most part, if you stick to the reputable ones.
for the most
So
part.
yeah, I don't miss it. I have no preference to be honest, but I do like futures.
Spoken like a true trader. Great answer. All right, so let's talk about TradeZella. So this is great what we're looking at here with these XFAs and the Tradeify. Talk to everybody first. How often are you coming into TradeZella? I think some people maybe are confused about how often they should be using TradeZella. So can you talk to just like the beginner trader maybe or the new trader of how often are you keeping this tab open? How often are you touching base on this? Is it throughout the day, once a week? How are you using TradeZella?
So I use it on a daily basis. I really just come in and I import my trading at the end of every trading day. That's usually what I do. However, I don't do my advanced self review until the Saturday of that week. So I'll have all my stats up, but I'll add the notes and I'll review my performance on Saturdays. Every Saturday, usually like nine times out of 10, I'll do it on Saturday. But if not, I'll do it on Sunday just to kind of, I'm not in a mindset of executing. I'm more in a mindset of like reflection.
Yeah.
And so I just carry those lessons, or I carry what I did right and I carry it into next week. But yeah, I use it every single day. I just import my trading, and then on the weekend I come back and I review my performance, and that seems to be working out for me pretty well.
I feel like too, for me, TradeZella became a very like daily practice, very much a daily practice for me, especially in futures, because like the data was very clear. Sometimes with the CFD firms, if you could even sync them, you weren't getting exact like TradeZella to what the broker statement was saying. So I feel like there's just so many pros for futures traders, especially to be using this, because I see you're trading crude oil over there. So talk to us about some of the other features that you like specifically with your daily use of TradeZella. And I think it's good to use it daily, everybody. I back that for sure.
No, absolutely. I used to use spreadsheets for, I mean, since last year, I transitioned to TradeZella this year. I used to use spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I can show them to you in a moment, but TradeZella is a hub where I can keep everything. I can have my screenshots. I can
Yeah.
have my, what you call a daily report card, which are just my notes.
Mhm.
It's simply where I just click on the note and all I have to do is view note and I have a full scope of what I did, what time frame I was looking at, screenshots if I want to, any comments. And yeah, it's just a place that I can do everything in one. And in fact, I've done some back testing as well. And the reports generation is pretty cool. I don't look at it too much, but it's nice to have, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think there's any one metric now studying your stats over the last couple of months? Do you think there's any one metric that you look to focus on the most? Day win rate, trade win rate, average win, average loss? Like, has anything changed in the way you trade because of something you saw here?
Nothing's changed, but
Okay.
something's definitely been highlighted. And that's the average win to loss. So my risk to reward tool, I usually target about a 1 to 2, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But what's interesting to me is this right here, 2.38, because
Yeah.
I take partial profits, and that usually dilutes the profit potential of a trade. But the reason why it's over a 2 is because I'm able to cut my losers short. So I keep those losers
Mm,
very small, but then I let the winners reach my profit targets. And I didn't know this would be so high. And as you can see, I don't have the highest day win rate. It's actually below average, I would say. But because my average winning trade is, 2.38 times higher, I'm able to come out on top in the market.
100%. I mean, look at that week of the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. It's paper cut, even smaller paper cut, break even, and then Friday crushed it. Even the week after that, there's two red days minus 3K, but the green days minus or plus 3.8 plus 2.6. So like those profitable weeks are way outsized compared to your losing weeks minus 132, minus 367. So do you have any tips for keeping losses small? Because that's really impressive, bro. Like how do you approach the mindset of I'm going to keep my red days small and maximize green days? Because I think people struggle in either one of those buckets, right? You probably could relate to it. Either you struggled to cut losses quickly, or you struggled to hold winners longer, or you struggled with both and you've worked through both. So could you speak to anybody that's maybe going through that?
Yeah, two things. The first one is if you're taking partial profits, then you have to cut your losers short because it makes no sense to dilute your profits, but then let your stop loss hit in its entirety because you're taking full 1 hour losses, but then your winning trades are diluted. So if you're taking partial profits, I would definitely advise cut your losers short and find a way to invalidate your trade. For me, it's potentially depends on my strategy because I use a fair value gap or an inverted fair value gap. And once it's invalidated, then I just cut the trade because I know more likely than not through my data that it's not going to work. So for beginner traders is it's hard, I will admit, but try to find a way or a metric that tells you that that trade is not no longer going to work out and cut it. And the same thing with you winning positions. Scale out of those winning positions so that way you're paying yourself as the market goes in your direction.
Love those answers. Are you big on adding into your winners as well? Or are you taking one position size and then kind of trailing for the most part?
So the way I do it is, no, I don't add to my positions. I just go in with my original position size, and then at my partial profit areas, I take out half, and then I let the rest run to my take profit or my break even point. Because I take partials and then I move my stop loss to break even. So it's a win-win at the end of the day.
Love that. Okay, last question for today's video. This is always short and sweet. For those of you that have never seen the hot seat before, these are short segments where we just highlight how the traders are using TradeZella. Like I said, Juan's going to be back on for the full podcast. We'll talk more strategy in that for sure. Maybe we'll even do some screen share and go over some of your trades because you kind of trade similarly to Zach, one of our guys on ASFX TV. And he does a lot of stuff with fair value gaps. So I'm going to connect you guys after this for sure. Don't let me forget that. But last question
Great.
for you. Tips
Yep.
for the guys that said, damn, this guy's got 6 funded accounts, one instant funded, five XFAs. Any tips for the guys that are struggling to pass those combines, struggling to pass those challenges?
Yeah. Number one, don't give up. I've been trading since 2018 unprofitably till last year. So if you see yourself being a consistently successful and profitable trader, just keep going. Do what you got to do. Work a side job, make ends meet. Do whatever it is that you have to do. But if you have that self-belief, just keep going because you can do it.
Love
And
that.
number two, Can you repeat that question? I had a second answer and I forgot.
Tips for passing the prop firm challenges
Oh,
or the
yeah. So,
combines.
okay. So tips for passing the combines. For me, this is not the way most people do it. I know it's certainly not the way you do it, but I treat it professionally. I don't over leverage. I actually take my time. The way I did Top Step was I passed one, and it took me 1 month to pass it. Once I proved to myself that I was able to do one combine, I then signed up for four, and it took yet another month. So it took me 2 months to get full allocation with Top Step. That's the way I do it because I know it builds good habits when I go into the XFA.
100%.
I so if I treat those professionally, then I will treat my XFAs professionally as well. And I also trade all my XFAs together along with my Tradeify. If I pull the trigger on one account, I'm going to pull it on all of them because my goal is just to make sound trading decisions. And I want to make sure I'm getting compensated for those decisions across all my accounts. It's a double-edged sword because when I have a winning position, I do fantastic. But then when I have a partial loss, then I take a loss across all my funded accounts. But again, that just goes back to personal preference. But I will advise people to just take their time with combines. Treat them professionally. Don't over leverage because that might bleed into your actual live trading performance.
Absolutely. I think that people are really going to be looking forward to the full podcast with you, Juan. I feel like I can hear it. Your experience, you've struggled with this. You're starting to, really start to string together some profitable months, start to do well with these funded accounts. I really like your approach, dude. So I appreciate you doing this video. I know TradeZella definitely loves to see the way you're using the software, the way you're using the platform. And like I said, bro, really looking forward to a full podcast. But I think we'll put a pin in it for today. Everybody, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening if you stayed all the way through. Make sure you're subscribed here on the channel. We're going to do more hot seat episodes, probably 2, 3 times a month. And then, of course, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the day trading show episode when Juan comes back. But for now, Juan, thanks, buddy. We'll make sure everybody can connect with you down in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video.